Tottenham nil. Oh well, we wasn't even at home, so it doesn't make a difference really. But West Ham won, Tottenham nil. Do you know what? I'm not even going to start with the game. I'm going to start with the comments Nuno made after the game. It was quite embarrassing, to be honest. He turned around after the game and said we was the better team. We had no shots on goal in the second half whatsoever. Right? I don't get it. For London, we've won 5 games in the Premier League this season. We've lost four, and all 4 games have been against London teams. The first game was we lost to Chelsea first. Then I believe it was Palace, Arsenal, West Ham. I think that's the order it went in, right? People are getting excited because we beat Man City at the start of the season 1-0. That game, right? Let me just say something here. Man City are never ever prepared at the start of the season. I think the only time they were prepared at the start of the season was when they played Arsenal at the Emirates and they won. I think it was 2-0 or 1-0. All the other seasons they've done poor in the first game, and we won. We have a good record against City at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, right? I think our last 5 home games we've beaten them without conceding. So realistically, that was bound to happen again. And the run's going to end next season when we play them again. I promise you, I'll come back to this video. We'll probably end up losing 4-0 if Nuno's still in charge, right? But as much as any Tottenham fan, I want Nuno to succeed. I wanted Poch to succeed. I wanted Villas-Boas to succeed. I wanted Sherwood to succeed. I wanted Mourinho, Nuno now. But I'm not being funny. I am probably more worried about how we're going to play this season than I was last season and the last season under Pochettino. Because we did not play this negative, this bad, this fucking poor. There is players in that club, right? There are 3 players in this club. I know they didn't feature today, or some of them didn't feature today, right? But there are 3 players instantly that come to mind that need to leave in January. And they won't leave. One of them might leave because he's not on high wages and he's not going to be worth a lot. But the other 2, they're never going because they're on fucking humongous wages. Nuno one of them seems to be his love child, and the other one seems to just, I don't know if he's got any other options to pick or if he's just picking someone else there instead. The most likely to leave out of the 3 is Harry Winks. He needs to just go. Realistically, he's not a DM, he's a box-to-box. He's not being used correctly, he's not playing. I would rather he play as the person to balance the midfield if we was to drop Højbjerg or Skip. You cannot play 2 DMs against West Ham away. Can't do it. Can't do it at all, right? As much as I love to see the team line up and we want to play the players that we all want to see, it just doesn't work. You have to pick players that are going to balance your team to win the game. You cannot play an attacking midfielder with 2 defensive midfielders. You need someone to break up the play. You need someone to balance the midfield between attack and defence. You need someone to utilise that attack. And Ndombele's been doing that. But you can't do 2 roles. Man United are seeing the same problem with Fernandes and Pogba. Because Pogba is meant to be the player that is the bridge between attack and defence, and he's not being that player. Fernandes is that player. When you play you cannot play 2 roles of midfield. I was a midfielder, right? I was a centre attacking midfielder. I know as more than anyone, my manager used to tell me this all the time. You cannot do 2 midfield roles at the same time. It does not work. You cannot be an attacking midfielder and a box-to-box. You cannot be a defensive midfielder and someone who's a deep line playmate. You can't do it. You can't, right? Winks would fit in this team if we played Højbjerg or Skip and Ndombele. Winks has to be that player, the box-to-box, that sets up the play. Yes, okay, his passing's not the best, right? He needs to stop doing all these fucking chops as well, right, when he plays, because he does it all the time, right? But I think he works in this team if Nuno plays the way we are meant to play as Tottenham, not the way that he played at Wolves. I will tell you now, I didn't want Nuno. I want him to succeed because he's Tottenham's manager. I didn't want him. And I don't think he will last the season, personally, right? As much as Paratici came in, he picked out Romero, he picked out Galini, who's been fucking terrible since he's joined, right? I'm not being funny, but Galini's been awful. I don't think he's kept a clean sheet since he's played. So yeah, Romero and Galini are the ones that kind of that come to mind. Brian Hill was not his signing. That was a Daniel Levy signing. With Lamela going plus 30 million, that was a Levy signing. I don't care what anyone says. But the other players, I mean, let's think back, right? Pochettino's last season, we was linked with Dybala, Philip Coutinho, I think Victor Osimhen when he was just going to Lille or was still at Lille. Who else was we linked with? Bruno Fernandes we nearly got. There was players in there that we could have signed, we could have got. We were literally, we was on the verge of signing Dybala. We had everything sorted out. And then his imaging rights was the issue and everything. I think Levy didn't want to pay the I think it was like 20 million or something like that, something crazy. Dybala's being held against his will. He's been held to ransom at Juve, and nothing more needs to be said on that. But like Pochettino said, it's going to be a painful rebuild. He should have been the manager to do it. Mourinho is a manager. This is what makes no sense, right? Mourinho was the manager that could have rebuilt this club. Nuno has been given more money than what Mourinho did in his first two in the 2 seasons Mourinho was here, or year and a half. Nuno got given more money than he did. How can you give a manager that managed a championship team, had 2 good seasons because of how defensive he played and how it worked in that team, more money than a manager who's proven a winner, and then we sack him on the week before of a cup final? I don't understand Daniel Levy's thinking. And then he chat shit to us. He bullshitted to every fucking Spurs fan, right? And it just builds more ammunition. And I know he won't sack Nuno until probably the end of the season because it just builds more ammunition. He said when Mourinho left in the summer, at the end of the season, he turned around to Spurs fans in a letter and said he wants to bring back the DNA that we have. Attacking, free-flowing football that we saw under Poch, that we tried to play under Villas-Boas and didn't work, that Harry Redknapp brought to the team to an extent, with the players that he had to utilise because he didn't have a good team. He hires Mourinho. He said it the first time. He hires Mourinho, right? Brings in Mourinho for Pochettino. You're instantly changing the DNA completely from there. You cannot, as much as I love Mourinho and I didn't think he deserved to be sacked, you cannot replace Pochettino with Jose Mourinho, right? That was the first mistake he made because you're going from free-flowing attacking football that was disappearing in a team that couldn't defend to a manager that only defends and had a terrible defensive team. You can't do that. You can't bring in a manager into a shit defence. And then when he says, I need defenders, you don't even give him the fucking money. We spent, what was it? I think 40, 50, 60 million in Mourinho's first season. Like in that summer, last summer. We've spent the same money that Mourinho had. I'm pretty sure we spent the same money on one player, Christian Romero. Paid about 50 million for him. Galini's on loan, but we're going to buy him. He's going to be our backup goalkeeper next season, right? Hopefully first team, and I do think he'll come around. He's not had the best start. we need it, but there's a lot of things need to be done. I think personally, for Nuno to succeed, he needs to play the 3 at the back he did at Wolves. He needs to play either Tanganga and he's played, first of all, the 2 centre-backs that need to be in that 3, the first 2 every week is Romero and Sanchez, right? Sanchez has not been as bad as people made him out to be this season. Dyer does not, I hope Dyer is never near this squad, right? The other centre-back either needs to be Tanganga on the right side or Ben Davies on the left side. Now, as much as people think that Ben Davies is average or whatever, when he played in a 3, when he was put in a 3, in that back 3, he actually played pretty well. And I think it's better he plays there than left back. Because then we can have Regan at left wing back. We can have Doherty at right wing back. Because funnily enough, he is a right wing back, not a right back. There's a difference. Learn the difference. Learn the difference between a back 5 and a back 4, right? Then you'll know why Doherty's been shit. He cannot play right back in a back 4. He has to play in a 5. And some Spurs fans don't seem to understand that. And Wolves fans are like, oh, you got a bargain off and we didn't want him. He's your fucking captain. Or at least, or vice captain, whatever he was. He had a big role in your team and you were happy he left. You were fucking salty he left to Tottenham. The only reason you were happy about him leaving was because you were trying to brush it off. And you knew he wouldn't be utilised properly here. You brought in a manager who played with him in a 5 when he performed really well in that first season with Wolves. Why would you not change to a back 3? Why? Why are you persistent with this back 4? Nuno is not playing his style of football. He's playing Mourinho's style of football with his philosophy. It doesn't work. You cannot mix. You cannot mix them. Play to your fucking ways. Play your style. 3-5-2 would work in this team because then you can have Ndombele, Skipper or Winks, Højbjerg Højbjerg or Winks. Dele Alli and Lo Celso need to fucking don't even put them on the bench, right? They are shocking shit. They play shit football. They're terrible footballers. They need to be sold in the summer. Simple. They won't go in January. Hopefully Lo Celso goes. I'd take 20 million for him. Bring back Ericsson or whatever. I don't care. Like, just get Lo Celso away from this fucking team, right? Dele Alli's just as bad. What's happened to this guy? What's happened to this guy? Honestly, first 2 seasons, young player of the year, Tottenham's player of the year, one of the best fucking exciting players we had. 3rd season under Pochettino, he was shit. 1st season under Mourinho, he had 4 good games. No one can tell me different. He was shit in the fucking when Mourinho first joined. After Mourinho's 1st season, shit. There's a reason he got dropped and Mourinho said he needs to improve. His attitude's disgusting. Some Spurs fans are saying, oh yeah, he should be playing because he runs a lot. Fuck the fact that he runs a lot. I couldn't give a shit if he runs a lot. That's not his fucking job. His job is to create goals and score goals. He's an attacking midfielder, not a fucking defensive midfielder or box to box. I don't want to see this shit, man. He's on so much fucking money. We paid 5 million for him, and to be fair, the first 2 years we got a bargain for him. Now that 5 million is looking like a fucking bargain for MK Dons. They might as well just give us the money back, and we'll give the alley to them. He struggled to perform against lower league teams last season and the year before. So why are Spurs fans still saying, oh yeah, Dele Alli's going to come good this season, he's been working hard. Yeah, you're working hard in training, but you're not performing in the games. There's a difference. And then, Kane doesn't want to be here, simple as. I said he should have gone in the summer, right? And then we bring in someone else. If we had stopped pissing around and Daniel Levy would stop fucking worrying about how much money he wanted to spend, we would have got Martinez before Lukaku went to Inter Milan. We had Martinez sorted. The deal was agreed. And then Levy was pissing about. He took a week, and then Lukaku went to Chelsea. Inter couldn't get a replacement in time, and we lost out on Martinez. Right? We could have played Son and Martinez. We could have built the team around them. We had Skip coming back, a young midfielder who's definitely going to be a future captain for us. It's in the name of Skipper. But then, I don't know. Like, you've got Nuno on the touchline looking like fucking Radagasta Brown from The Hobbit with his long fucking beard, and he's casting the wrong spells for our team to win the games. It's just not working for us. I watched the Arsenal game. We were terrible. That was probably the worst football I've ever seen us play against Arsenal. And then against West Ham, I would rather a manager play to his strengths, play to his philosophy, his formation, everything that he usually did at his old clubs, right? If he loses, turns around and say you're not good enough. Do not turn around and say you were the better team when you had no shots on goal in the second half. We were terrible against West Ham. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. You can play well and lose. Play shit and win the fucking games. I'd rather play shit and win. That's why I wanted Mourinho here, because he was winning games. Then we hit the part of the season where we crumbled. Or the part of the season when we lose Kane, we lose Son. Everyone knew it was going to happen, but we didn't replace them. We didn't do anything to replace those players. We brought Bergwijn did well in the first year, the year that Mourinho came in. We bought him in January. He did really well. I still think he can do well. He's been utilised incorrectly. Lucas Moura is past it, way past it, way past it. He does not fit this team anymore, right? Something needs to be changed now. I've had enough of this. We need a formation change. We need a change of direction in terms of how we're playing in the matches, because it's way too negative. We're not creating enough chances. We're creating less under Nuno than we did under Mourinho, and people say Nuno attacks more than he does. No, he fucking doesn't. Nuno is more defensive than Mourinho is. I don't think people realise that because of how well Wolves played. Wolves did not play free-flowing attacking football. They had the players to be able to utilise counter-attacking. We don't have those players. Mourinho got the best out of the players because he played Kane. Nuno is utilising Kane wrong in the system he's playing. That's why you have to go 3-5-2. You can't do anything else. It's just not good enough. We've lost 4 London derbies, man. Our 4 losses this season have all been London derbies. And I'm not being funny. I'd rather lose all the other 5 games and win the derbies. But like, when we lose games, I haven't seen a performance. I haven't seen the care. They don't seem to give a shit. They don't seem to give a shit. Nuno was, I think, towards the end of the game, Nuno was, shook David Moyes' hands and he was smiling. Unless I saw the pictures wrong, he was fucking smiling. Why are you smiling after you lost a derby? Are you fucking kidding me? You've just lost 1-0 to West Ham, one of our London rivals, right? Chelsea, West Ham, Arsenal are the games I want to win every season. I couldn't give a shit about any other teams. Chelsea, Arsenal, and West Ham are the games I want to win every single year. We've just lost to all 3 of those teams. Chelsea at home, Arsenal and West Ham away. Wasn't even close. Wasn't even close to fucking losses. We didn't put a performance in any of the games. I don't give a shit how well we play. I just want to fucking win. I want Nuno to succeed. But it's not working. 5 wins, 4 losses, 9 games. Minus 4 goal difference. The only reason we're 6th is because all the other fucking teams below us have had a shit start. They've had a start worse than what we've had. That's the only reason we're in 6th place. Out of the top 6 clubs, we have started the worst. Sorry, we've played the worst, but we haven't started the worst because United and Arsenal have been doing worse than us. Arsenal losing their first 3 games of the season. Winning the next 3, then drawing 2. Or I think drawing 1, I think it was 2 actually. Yeah, Brighton and then I can't remember who they played after that. And then they beat Villa. But Arsenal look like they're going in a sense of direction in terms of they're actually performing better now with the players they got in. Partey's come back and has made a huge difference to their team. Smith Rowe is doing the difference. What Smith Rowe is doing now is what Dele Alli did in his first 2 seasons. It's just unbelievable. I can't believe it. I want to know where we're going as a team. If Paratici doesn't come in at the start of the season, we get Fonseca from Roma. It would have been a straight swap. Fonseca's attacking manager. He is much more qualified to rebuild in this Tottenham squad than Nuno is. Why is it Daniel Levy turns around and says, free-flowing attacking football. You bring in Paratici, who brought in 2 defensive managers to Juventus. Paratici, and I'm telling you now, right? If we hired Gattuso, I swear I would never ever, fuck it. I would not have watched any of our games this season if we hired Gattuso. If we got Gattuso in, right? When he was linked, I was like, oh my God, we just rejected Fonseca and then his name came up and I was like, we can't go for anyone but him. I'd take Ryan Mason on the full-time job than Gennaro Gattuso. I couldn't give a shit if he's a ruthless manager. He is not a fucking good manager. I don't care what anyone says about his record in Serie A. He fucking flopped top 4 with Napoli when they should have got it. Don't want to hear it, man. Like, it's whatever. We deserve to lose at the end of the day. Nuno needs to change formation, put some players in. We haven't learned our lesson from Vitesse. And there's something needs to change. And we got Man United next. I'm not confident. Man United have just lost 5-0 to Liverpool. They also had a struggle in midweek against Atalanta, came back and won. I can't see us scoring against them. They are so open at the back, Man United. I can't see us scoring. I really can't. I say that now, and then Kane will end up getting a fucking goal and we'll end up winning 1-0. But I don't know. 9 games into the season and I'm this worried. Last year I wasn't worried at all. Even when we started to crumble, I was like, Mourinho can bring it back. I didn't expect to get top 4 last season. I didn't expect to win the league. I thought we'd maybe pull a 5th, 4th. If Mourinho stayed, I still think we would have got 4th place. We could have won the Carabao Cup against Man City. We just got knocked out of the Europa League by Dinamo Zagreb, which I think is why Daniel Levy pulled the trigger. You don't do it before a cup final, though. But, that's by the by. Nothing else we can do. Us as fans, we just need to get behind the team for 90 minutes. Criticise when they play bad and praise when they play well. Right? I want to see The players that haven't been performing, Dele Alli, Lucas Moura, Steven Bergwijn, Harry Winks, Eric Dyer. I want these players to succeed. I want them to play well. They play for the team I support and love. I'm not criticising these players because I want to do it to be negative. I want them to do well. I want them to improve. But if they're not going to improve, then we need to get rid of them. We need to get players in to replace them. We bought 5 players this season. Only one of them's in the first team. One. Or technically 4 if you count Oliver Skip coming back as well. But one of those players we signed is in the first team, Christian Romero. Where's everyone? I know Papa Sarr's is at Metz for the season. He's not going to get into the first team. There's no way he's getting ahead of Højbjerg, Skip, and then Ndombele. We didn't even need Sarr. Why the fuck have we signed him and not a striker? And then last season we loaned Carlos Vinicius for a season. He was always going to be shit. He was always going to be shit. He doesn't suit our team. Mourinho didn't even want him. Daniel Levy literally took the piss out of Mourinho, which is why Mourinho didn't succeed. If you give him the money you gave Nuno, we spent nearly 100 million, I think, this season. If you don't, I mean, actually, well, to be fair, not really, because we haven't bought Galini yet. Pochettino's last season, we bought 2 players, Lo Celso and Ndombele. We only needed one of them. We only needed one of them. Then we didn't replace Dembele in January. That's where all this started. All this started the year of the Champions League final. We didn't replace Dembele in January. It was right that he went. People were saying we should have kept him for the Champions League. No fucking way. He wouldn't have played in the Champions League, right? Champions League finals. That's done, right? But the mistake we made was in January. Poch's last full season at the club was not replacing Dembele in January when he went to China. We should have brought someone in that fucking window, but we didn't. And then, like I said, I've gone through all that already. We've got Burnley on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup. I'll be watching that game and I'll be doing an instant reaction after. Then we've got Man United at the weekend. I think it's on a Saturday, or if it's on a Saturday, you'll get my reaction after. If it's on Sunday, you'll probably have to wait because I'm at work. But yeah, we lost 1-0. 4 defeats in 9 Premier League games this season, -4 goal difference. Not good enough. Not good enough, but what can we do at the moment?